Let's do this. It is the last Wednesday of January, and I decided that I wanted to open up every single figure that I bought in 2021. Well, almost. I have like three figures that I still have that I've totally forgot that I bought. If I had to be honest. Still waiting around, but these are like all the major player figures that I saw, and I didn't open it up because I wanted to make a video about them, and I just didn't have time to do it. But here we are. Here's the video. This is my figure backlog of 2021, and gonna get this off my chest so that we can have figures to open in 2022. So yeah, this is also a new format that I thought about doing, where I do a voiceover over all this opening and stuff like that. Plus, my neighbors were kind of like having a party at the time, so yeah, let's get into it. So first up is going to be this Cynthia with Guard Chomp by Kotobukiya under their Artifacts J line. This box has a dent in it. I bought this. I bought her off of Solaris Japan. I use C-mail. So, and C-mail, it's usually good, but it's cheap. It takes a long time, and sometimes the ship kind of rocks back and forth, and I guess she just fell off. Luckily though, Kotobukiya puts a lot of blister packaging, so the figure itself, Garchomp, Cynthia, well, she was fine. She was phenomenal. That makes sense. She's kind of a chunker. But first though, this is my turntable, my Lazy Susan as it says, and I don't know where the cord is. Even now, I don't know where it is. So we're just gonna use good old manpower and just spin it. Lazy Susan, more like hand Susan. Got him. So here she is. She's absolutely beautiful, and honestly, for this price, for both figures, is like amazing. Kotobukiya really dropped it out of the park, or hit it out of the park. There you go. What? Her hair sculpt is amazing. How it flows through, and how like she got like her finishes are definitely one of the highlights of this figure, where her coat is like matte and like her jewelry is glossy and stuff like that. Amazing, phenomenal. I think Kotobukiya's strong suits are always have been their sculpts, and honestly their pricing for it, man, it's something out of this world, man. Put her to the side. Going to go get Garchomp, I'm assuming. There he is. The big boy. Garchomp's finish, I mean, for big, he's more of like a side. Well, he is pretty big, but I don't think there's much you could really do with Garchomp. I mean, like most of it would be like matte. Even in real life, I wouldn't really expect a glossy finish on Garchomp anywhere. So still very good sculpt, very amazing. These Kotobukiya's Artifacts J lines are already come on the base, so there's no real assembly to them. It's just with these two figures, it's just putting them side by side. I thought that in the promotional photos they looked like it was just one base, but nope. It's just kind of one of those illusionary things where you can put Cynthia right next to Garchomp. And this is kind of like where I was trying to replicate that photo, which is a little hard if I had to be honest, because the bases don't really line up. But there she is. Wow. Honestly, if you're a Pokemon fan, that's a pickup you need to get. Next is Chen from Arknights, made by Apex Innovations, also known as just Apex, big font. Bought her off of Yahoo Auctions for a little bit less than her retail price on Ami Ami, because I was kind of on the fence of this one. Didn't really pre-order her. kind of regret that for Blaze because Blaze is like super expensive now. But yeah, Chen, very cool. Watch this transition. Oof. Very nice. A little hit the tripod a little bit there. That was my bad. So Chen comes with instructions. She has a Chinese side with English on the bottom, and then on the back it's Japanese. Very cool. So her sword has this little peg on it, and her hand has the hole where you're supposed to put the peg. But like honestly, they don't go together very well, if I had to be honest. It's also very hard to see. Right there. Right on the back. There it is. Luckily, my backdrop's white. So, it's very small, and honestly, if you have like, maybe like sticky putty or something like that, you could probably put it in that peg, but it's not a big deal for me. I also just wanted to highlight this base. Is very cool. It doesn't have a finish to it. It's kind of just like a plain circle with her name on it. But I really do like the design of it. And put her to the side. So this did come with the Ami Ami bonus, luckily. It's just a little keychain though. It's not nothing too special. So this is me putting, trying to put her on the Lazy Susan, but her base is actually too big, so she doesn't really stand very well. Like her little two pegs for her legs, kind of don't stand very well on it. So this is a zoom up and spin her around. Honestly, she's great. Like, I wouldn't say that this figure is like amazing, but like this is like pretty high up there, especially for Apex's price. Ooh. That's why I wanted to try to balance her out, but I'll just stick with this. Her details and everything, like her like ID badge on the side has her face on it. Apex did an amazing job, but yeah, I really can't complain much because like the price, like even like retail is like, I think it's like $150 USD before shipping. So I mean, for that type of figure, is really great. Ta-da. All right. Next is Seto Kaiba. This is also made by he is also made by Konami Kia. My bad. He is under the same line as Cynthia, Artifacts J. I think that is Konami Kia's main figure line. This is a 1/7 scale of Kaiba. Kaiba is very tall, so that's all the boxes. There's also some stuff on top where get Kaiba. You also see the bottom with all the boring wording and stuff like that, which weirdly is upside down when the top is right side up. Don't know why they did that, but you know, it's just a box. I got this one at the Frankenstein show, and I picked him up for about $110 if I remember correctly. Editing me will figure it out. Didn't have to worry about shipping though. That's the most important part. Zoom in here. So Kaiba does come with some parts. He comes with a hand of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I really appreciate Konami Kia's like detail with these cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh line, where the back of them, well, you get the actual, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh back obviously, and the front isn't just like a plain white, is actually like, it kind of resembles a Yu-Gi-Oh card. They could have just like leaved it white and no one would have honestly noticed, to be honest. That's his dual disc. I also appreciate the small details as well. So this is footage of me trying to grab Kaiba's hand and pull it out. You can't really see it well because of my gigantic Yu-Gi-Oh fucking protagonist hands. But I was trying to grab him by the hand and take it out. But after looking back at the booster packaging, there is instructions. It's one-sided, has the Japanese and English, and it says that you're supposed to pull him by the arm and not just by the hand. And looking back at it now, I'm kind of dumb because if you looked at his dual disc, it also has his arm. So that one's on me. Oop. Don't worry, his arm's fine. Do need a little bit of force for these figures to pop them off, though, if I had to be honest. So put dual disc on his armless arm. And that should be set. And the cards are pretty simple to put. They just go in his hands and kind of just hold there. Oop, hit my tripod. So Kaiba, I really like Kotobukiya's like glossy finish on Kaiba in particular in the Yu-Gi-Oh line, because his coat really shines in the light. I mean, it's like, and especially the fact that his coat is white, so it really goes well with the light and stuff like that. He takes pictures very well. There you go. I do appreciate the small finishes on Kaiba. He is kind of weird though, because he kind of only looks good from like one angle. If you look at him like dead on, he kind of looks weird, but from like a side profile or even a back profile, Kaiba looks amazing. Next up is another Yu-Gi-Oh figure, Yami Yugi by Kotobukiya, yet again under their Artifacts J line. I believe I have the Joey Wheeler, and they also made a Yami Bakura and Merrick, from my knowing. But I'm not gonna pick up Bakura and Merrick unless they just happen to fall upon my hands. But I'm not too heartbroken when if those two ever show up, because I don't really, not like I don't like them. It's just that I think just having the trio of the fourth-rate duelists and the two, well, the protagonist and the antagonist, I think that's good enough. So here's Yugi. I do like that. I like his matte finish on his shirt, but I don't really like the glossy finish on like his denim parts, if that makes sense. Because if you see from his jacket, it's like you would expect denim to be a matte finish, but for whatever reason, Kotobukiya decided to make it glossy. Which, I mean, for I think Yugi is fine, but like for like Joey, where he's kind of just like in a basic standard pose, kind of looks weird. So here's the puzzle. The puzzle itself, like the chain, is an actual chain. And Kota really, like, the small details, like I said earlier with Cynthia, their upsides are their sculpt and like their price. And like when it comes to sculpting small details like these, oh man, they hit different. Those are the cards. So Yugi was a little hard to assemble. You're supposed to pop his head off and take his collar off, because his coat already has a collar on it. I didn't show the instructions, but he does come with instructions on the booster packaging. There his head goes. And yeah, you're supposed to take the collar off and then quote unquote put it in a safe place where you won't forget about it. That is 1-to-1 what the instructions say. I was a little scared though, cause like, even though his head comes off, like it was really hard to get it off. To be honest, there's his headless body, and for for a figure that, well, the jacket doesn't have pegs, so it was kind of amazing that the jacket kind of just stood there in one place. And the puzzle, you're supposed to put it around the collar, but I kind of just put it around the jacket and then kind of messed around with small details later after I put his head on. So, picked it back up and just slide his head back on. So, you're also supposed to do the same thing with the hands. Well, his arm, I suppose. You take his arm off, take the arm bracelet that he has, and put it somewhere safe, and then put his dual disc on. I don't know why Kotobukiya didn't just do the Kaiba thing and just had it just 2 pieces instead of so many other pieces, but it's fine. This is a good figure. So after all that messing around, this is Yami Yugi for $100. Honestly, amazing figure. This is a great figure, and with I just love the motion with his cape, with his cape, with his jacket. It kind of looks like a cape, to be honest. Again, I do wish that the denim look was matte instead of gloss, but with $100 and you get a figure that looks like this, no complaints from me, to be honest. Ooh. A little heavy there. Currently have the 3 of them kind of displayed around a Saber altar on a motorcycle. Is very cool. And I still think Kaiba is a standout out of the 3 of them, but well, they're around Saber, and that Saber figure, whew, is different. Anyway, this is Haruna from Kantai Collection. This is my first B- grade figure. Oh no, B+. I thought it said B-. Whoops. So I don't know what the difference is between what the difference between a plus and a B-, B+, B-. Oh my god. A B figure is, because when I open her up, she still had the plastic and everything, honestly, but her skirt is kind of wibbly wobbly because you are supposed to take it off to get the plastic off. Also, here are the instructions. There's the Japanese side, they also have an English side. The bag is very fragile, so as instructed, you got to be delicate with it, and you hook her. She has the same concept as Chen earlier, where she has a small hole and you put it in her hand that I think it's on the left, her left hand, and on the right hand she kind of just put it around her thumb. I also like the small detail that Good Smile did and put a box in the bag itself. I don't know if you see it there. I appreciate that. Yeah, she wasn't dusty. She was almost brand new, to be honest. The only thing I found wrong with it was the fact that her skirt was kind of wonky. But I got her for a very, very cheap price on Omni pre-owned section. I also shipped her with C-mail, which honestly I'm not going to do that again because waiting 3 months for all my figures to get here is a long wait. And to be honest, I'll just pay DHL and EMS just to get them over here. Now, when I was filming B-roll, I kind of realized that there is like a little dot in her bag. But I mean, like, is that really, like, is that it? Ami does a really good job with their grading system. I appreciate them for doing that. And I believe this is my last scale figure. So this is Mash from Fate Grand Order. This is her New Year kimono, her Grand New Year version from Aniplex. So I bought this at Anime Jungle in LA, down in Little Tokyo, and she was in the pre-owned section, and she's basically brand new, and she was on sale for about like $180. And well, first, this is her weapon shield, very big, and has a kind of like a Lego piece at the end for her base. Put that down. I have a little bit of history with this figure, but here are the instructions. There's the Japanese side. I don't think this figure had English instructions actually. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I usually just like go off, like do all of this off camera. But like honestly, if you have this figure, like, because I think not a lot of us can read Japanese. It's kind of, this figure kind of complex. Not gonna lie. So yeah, like you take this thing and then you're supposed to. It's basically a tool, and then you pull this circle thing out, and then once you have, then you put it in like in the directions. I think it's like you put it on Mashu's hand, and then you put the thing in, and then it's like, bro, it's semi complicated, but I mean, like, we're getting there. And then I think, let's see, put it on the base, and then put her shield up on the base, and then we're good. All right, back to voiceover me. So yeah, after everything was said and done, this is her. This is Mash. So I first saw her at Anime Expo actually, and this is like peak when I was playing, very active in playing Fate Grand Order, and I honestly was just blown away by how amazing she looked. But at the time, I was like broke. I was still in high school. I was like a junior, I think, in high school at the time. So like I was like, oh man, spending however much she was, like I was like, damn, I can't do that. So but when I saw her last year in Jungle, and she was about $180, and Jungle likes to do this thing where they take a price of like, they probably like from Solaris Japan, and they're like, oh, this is the internet price, this is our price. But I did see that she was actually like on sale in Jungle, again for $180. I think that's a little bit above her market price, but like, man, I would consider that like one of my grails. I just didn't want to open her until I filmed it, because I have been burned by Jungle once before, but luckily she was like brand new, so I don't really care. Last thing up are these little Kirby bottles. So this is the entire set as the label suggests, and I'm just gonna put B-roll right here because I did open these. I did like an entire filming of them, but like after looking back, like the footage just didn't look good, so here they are. I really think these like mini Kirby terrariums are like the cutest shit in the world. And honestly, this entire bottle line, I saw them in Little Tokyo at this little store called Neko Stop, and I saw one and I was like, I just want this entire set. Like honestly, I want them all. So I bought them all. I don't know where I'm gonna put these just yet, because I do have a few of them. I do want to dedicate like an entire shelf to these, but give you a closer look. So on the bottom there's like this ring that keeps it closed, and the top as well also keeps it closed. And there's a lemon Kirby. Lime Kirby? Yeah, that makes sense. So after that, that's about it. We can move into 2022 now. I don't know if I'm going to do a pre-order video, maybe soon. So keep on the lookouts for that. But next video is going to be Pokemon card related, because that's the next collection that I got to open up before we really get into 2022. So I'll see you next Wednesday.